The 60th anniversary episode of Doctor Who came out, featuring the return of David Tennant as the Doctor, Catherine Tate as Donna Noble, and Russell T Davies as the showrunner. If you thought this was going to be a return to form of old Doctor Who, well, I got some news for you.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Before I really get into the giant-sized Optimus Prime elephant in the room, let me talk a little bit about the episode itself. Um, First off, it is great seeing David Tennant back being the Doctor. David Tennant is my Doctor. And by that, I mean, that's when I really fell in love with Doctor Who. Everyone who is a Doctor Who fan has a Doctor, depending on when you started watching it. Maybe you're a Tom Baker fan. Maybe you're a Peter Davison fan. I think there are Colin Baker fans out there.
I, I,
That's three eyes in one breath. Makes you sound a rather egotistical young lady.
But David Tennant was my Doctor. I loved him as the role. I loved his series, and it's great to see him back. And he falls back into the role. So does Catherine Tate. Both play the characters very well. They understand the characters. They know how to play the characters. So there's that feeling of nostalgia, kind of like when you first saw Han Solo show up in Force Awakens. You feel that nostalgia. And yeah, I draw that specific analogy for a reason. Russell T Davies. We know he's done good shows before. Now, mind you, he's had some stinkers. You know, I can think of the episode Fear Her.
I'm coming to hurt you.
Yeah, that was not good. Of course, he also, introduced the Slovene.
I'm shaking my booty.
But overall, Russell T Davies did a good job. He revitalized Doctor Who. He brought it back, and that really created an idea that this was going to be something. Him returning to the job, running the show, something he said he'd never do again. That gave some hope. Unfortunately, stuff happened. So seeing Tennant and Tate is great. There are some issues with the show, like I say.
That is something of an understatement.
The story itself, if you get to the bare essentials of the story, which is based off a comic from 1980, The Star Beast, featuring Beep the Meep, the alien creature in the show who arrives on Earth and seemingly needs help, but is in fact a vicious evil monster. That story's fine. If that was the whole story, that'd be great. Unfortunately, there's a lot of other crap in here.
This is bad. This is very, very bad.
Oh, it gets so bad.
You have no idea.
Like I say, again, before I get into the big issue,
More than meets the eye.
talk about the sonic screwdriver, because they totally effed this up. Apparently now, the sonic screwdriver, there's a list of things here this thing can do now. I don't know if you remember, it was definitely the 50th episode, I believe, where the Water Doctor basically described them as scientific instruments.
Why are you pointing your screwdrivers like that? They're scientific instruments, not water pistols.
Now the sonic screwdriver, let's just rename it Deus Ex Screwdriver. It does everything. Literally does everything. It can generate holographic screens. So apparently the Doctor just draws a screen in the air and sees what he wants to see. He's also able now to create force fields. Hard light force fields, from what I can tell. Okay. Why? It can break down walls. Now, I remember sonic screwdriver having some problems with that, trying to get through wood, trying to get through walls. There was an episode when Christopher Eccleston was playing the Doctor. He and Rose in World War II were in a room. They were trying to get out, and he's trying to resonate the mortar in the walls, and he couldn't do it. That's when Captain Jack came in and rescued him. I guess this is another upgrade for the sonic screwdriver. And the best one. Sonic screwdriver is now a transporter.
Scotty, beam me up.
We can now transport people left and right. We've seen the sonic screwdriver interrupt transports before. But now this sonic screwdriver literally transports people from wherever he wants, wherever the doctor wants them from. Yeah. So I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of Canon being taken apart like that.
This is so non-canonical.
One of the new characters introduced in this episode is named Shirleyanne Bingham. She is the 56th scientific advisor to UNIT. She is described as a wheelchair user. And then specifically, we now that we've seen the little red-nosed children in need special, where we are reintroduced to Davos, fully functional Davos. We now know why this character is brought in. She apparently is not paralyzed. She uses a wheelchair for some reason. She can't get upstairs or anything. That's made clear several times throughout this show. But she's able to cross her legs. Weird. I admit, I'm certain there's some neurological, muscular degenerative diseases that prevent people from walking. But this is clearly a virtue signal, since the showrunner Russell T Davies came out and said they've changed the character of Davos, the creator of the Daleks, so that he's no longer in a wheelchair, so as not to associate disabled people with being evil or unheroic. So now we have clearly a very heroic individual in a wheelchair. A wheelchair that's apparently armed with missiles.
I don't just fire darts, mate.
Again, this is all to make a point. There is an actual story here based on that 1980s comic, which is kind of good and interesting. But it's all this stuff that's stuck in there that detracts from it and makes this a total fracking mess and one of the worst Doctor Who shows I've ever seen.
Worst episode ever.
So let's get to it.
And here we go.
Rose Noble.
There's more to them than meets the eye.
Okay, Rose Noble. Rose Noble is the daughter of Donna Noble. Donna Noble, of course, being played by Tennant Tate. If you watch the series, you know who Donna Noble is. You know what a great character arc Donna Noble had. Rose Noble, who does not take her father's name, was born Jason Noble. Rose Noble is a 15-year-old trans girl, not a trans woman, a trans girl. It's made very clear throughout this episode that she is trans. It's touted throughout as she is mocked by classmates who, I believe the term is dead name her, calling her by the name she was born, assigned, whatever. I don't know the terminology. Before she transitioned, she was known as Jason. So now she's known as Rose. Even Donna's mother is confused by this. She screws up the pronouns as well. This is the majority of the opening of the show. We spend 10 minutes or so talking about Rose Noble. The actress, I don't know, is in fact a trans person. Male to female trans person. Not that good at acting, in my opinion, in this show. Not very obviously a trans person, in my opinion. That's just me. But the first 10 minutes are talking about how she's beautiful and gorgeous, blah, 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 all this stuff. And then, when the Meep is encountered and she rescues the Meep, and the doctor says, I'm going to return the Meep home, I'm going to get him home, or something along those lines. She corrects the doctor. See, this is where This is where the storyline falls apart because Russell T Davies, who again, I note, has written good stories. He wrote great character arts. He is now focused on the message. And yeah, I say the message because that is what the critical drinker calls it. But best of all, that's what even reviews have recognized. That's true. The BBC review of this actually noted the importance of pressing the message in this show. Focused over storyline. So Rose Noble, honors to Billy Piper, true Rose character. Rose Noble lectures the Doctor, shames the Doctor, the thousands of year old Time Lord, that he's using the wrong pronouns. Why did you assume the Meep's pronouns? And the Doctor's like, oh, I'm sorry. I did not mean to use the wrong pronouns. I should have asked, what are your pronouns? I sound more like Russell Brand than David Tennant. Whatever. But that's what this is. There's a little bit in this show where like the middle 10 minutes is focused on getting away, figuring out what's going on with the aliens, realizing the Meep is actually a bad guy, a villain. So the first 10 minutes or so is like, Rose is beautiful and wonderful, stunning and brave, trans person. Watch your pronouns. And then we have this 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, where it's like, just like, here's an actual Doctor Who episode. They kind of don't address Rose Noble again. But in the last 10 minutes, they smack you in the goddamn face. How? How do they do it? Because everything is solved by the fact that Rose Noble is a trans person. Basically what happens is the Meep launches his attack on London. He's going to blow up the whole city to get off the planet. 9 million people are killed. The Doctor and Donna are trapped in the spaceship. They're trying to stop it. The Donna, whose memory has been erased by the Doctor so that she doesn't remember when she was a Dr. Donna, because that memory would burn her mind. The Doctor has no choice because he needs her help. He brings back the Dr. Donna through a sequence of words, which is completely like reactivating the Winter Soldier from Captain America. The words are mimicking Donna Noble at the end of her last episode, where the meta-crisis is making her mind go crazy. So Dr. Donna comes back and they're able to stop the Meep, stop him from destroying everything. And Donna dies. And then suddenly the bad guys show up under the control of the Meep. And then just suddenly they're not. And suddenly Donna's back alive. What's going on? How could this be possible? Rose Noble has saved the day. You see, because Rose Noble inherited the DNA of the Dr. Donna. Oh, God. And she solves everything. She knows everything. And in the end, they're all standing around marveling at how everything was solved. And it is very clearly pointed out that the reason this was all happened is because Rose Noble is non-binary. She calls, or Donna, they called the Doctor a male-presenting Time Lord. Which is why he doesn't apparently understand all this stuff. So now, the Dr. Donna and Rose Noble realize they can get rid of the power of the Time Lords. Why? Because women are willing to give up power, apparently. Men are not. Someone better tell Hillary Clinton that. So because the Donna was a female and the Doctor was a male presenting person and Rose Noble is non-binary. And again, I'm totally confused by this. Biologically, Rose Noble has XY chromosomes. Chosen gender is to be non-binary, yet be female. But it's DNA. So apparently the power of thought overrides DNA. Science. Does this make any sense? No, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But it doesn't need to make sense because Russell T Davies has forgotten what his job is as a showrunner, is to present a story which is engaging to people. Instead, what he does is just force the message down your throat. They could have had Rose Noble as a side character who happened to be a trans person. Look, we've had Captain Jack in the show, right? Everyone knew Captain Jack was gay as hell, but it wasn't his character. This character is entirely defined by being trans. The whole thing is solved by Rose Noble being trans. That's it. There's no story here. There's a message. And that's why this sucks. And that's why this is the worst Doctor Who episode I've ever seen. Granted, I checked out of Jodie Doctor after the second episode. There may be some shit bombs in there, but this is bad from a person who revived Doctor Who from the ashes, who created a series that people loved. They brought in millions of new fans. And he thinks this is his job now? This is what he wants to do? Propagandize? No, tell a fucking story. Don't do this shit.
Go fuck yourself. Is that clear?
I don't know what to expect when Shooty Gatwa or I don't know how NCUTI becomes Shooty. Looks like N-Cuddy to me. Whatever. I don't expect from him. I don't. I'm going to give him a shot. I'm going to give him a shot because I gave Dr. Jodie a shot. But if Russell T Davies continues to do this, continues to promote the message over the story, then Doctor Who is dead. Flat out. Questions, comments, witticisms down below. Click the subscribe button. Click the like button. Share this video. See y'all later.